I'm Nick, and welcome to HackIt Reptiles. Today we're going to be doing an enclosure build and review of the Reptizoo 10-gallon tank. So, let's just crack into this guy. Okay, we got the whole thing unboxed. It is cool that it actually came with little glass working gloves, which is nice. Looks like each of the pieces are labeled. I'll probably do exactly what I did with the snake rack and just breeze through the instructions instead of fully reading them. But it's just broken up into the simple. It's a 10-gallon enclosure, pretty standard size, 10-gallon. Let's assemble the thing. You should only really need, it looks like it actually comes with all of the tools that you need to build it, although I did grab another screwdriver. Voila, it's done. So, I actually do really like it. This is a normal 10-gallon enclosure. You saw the build process for this was really straightforward. It only had 6 screws in total, and it came with the tool to do it. So you actually don't even need a screwdriver. You just need something to open the box with. One thing I like about this is that I prefer front opening enclosures overall, but with a top enclosure, I do like that it actually auto locks. It's just a little simple lock system on it, but makes it so once it's there, the animal's not going to be able to just push it open. Comparative to other ones where they can push up on a corner, having a sliding lid is much nicer. And then that just pushes down and holds it in place. Another thing I really like is just this little door. If you're dealing with like a small sort of lizard, like baby bearded dragon or certain small anoles or a baby skink or anything like that, any sort of leopard gecko, young juvenile. What's awesome is like if you don't want to open the whole thing, you've got a nice spot to drop in feeders if you want. Another thing I really do like about it is that back here there are 2 spots for wires. So unlike the standard top-down, screen enclosure that just sits right on top, the fact that this has little holes for the wires and stoppers if you're dealing with really small snakes like baby garter snakes that are arboreal, that you are able to plug up these things, make sure there's no way of escaping. Once this thing is fully in, there is no room for an animal to get out of here. The downside of this enclosure, really the only downside is that it's not watertight. Because it is their knockdown series, that means it comes flat in a box and you screw it together yourself. There is no silicone than what you would get normally for buying a 10-gallon aquarium or any sort of fish tank. But that's easy enough. I just did a little thing not too long ago. All you do is get some all-purpose silicone if you need it in order to seal off all the gaskets on this thing. But for what I'm going to be using it for, not necessary. I like the quality of the screen. It seems actually pretty rigid. It's not like this very thin mesh. It's got some rigidity to it. The build was very simple and easy. I love the wire that way because I'm going to be using this for snake species. I'm going to be using this as a quarantine enclosure specifically for either ball pythons or boas. And the fact that I can have this wire going down, have my thermostat probe right on the heat mat that I'm going to install on this guy is so great. And I absolutely love that, to not have the wire and to have to worry about that comparatively, and that this is secure and not coming off just with a simple little plug lock. I do really enjoy that. Also, it comes with this. This is supposed to be like a little miniature substrate barrier. It drops down right in here. Right now there's a bit of like fuzz and stuff from the packaging that we didn't fully wipe off. I'm probably not going to use this. I'm going to be using this as a quarantine enclosure. And I also don't want that extra layer in between it and the heat mat. But for basking species, like I said, a young bearded dragon, or if you were doing a garter snake and you didn't want, or a western hognose snake and you didn't want to use an undertake belly heat, because those snakes will bask, this would be great for putting like some aspen bedding down, or some cypress chips, or coconut core. Putting that down, just a thin layer for this young juvenile snake, laying it down, getting the heat lamp situated on top of this, and getting it set up. Then you can open it. I do really like the construction. It feels really solid overall. I love that it came with little glass, like white, white glove service, glass gloves that are only a little small for my hands. They say Reptizoo on them. I just like that little detail. That way you're not doing what I did and just getting fingerprints all over this stuff. Overall, I can't. I know the snake rack I gave like a 4 out of 5. For what this is, it's great. It's a little bit pricey. This, I believe, was like $65. Cheaper than they have. Honestly, they actually do have a shorter version. Same dimensions, length, and width. I bought that one originally, but returned it because I realized the taller enclosure was a little bit cheaper. But the benefit to the shorter enclosure they have is still 20 inches long by 12 inches wide, but instead of 10 inches high, it is 6 inches high. So it is quite a bit shorter, but one thing I do like about that is actually the 3 sides are just come blacked out, which is a really nice feature. I don't get why they didn't do that with this, but it doesn't really make a big difference for me. I'm just going to put some either construction paper or something out on the other side just to cover up the 3 sides. That way you only see into the enclosure through the front and through the mesh on top. But overall, this is a fantastic enclosure, and I knew what I was getting into. A little bit pricey, so I'm probably going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I should probably change this to like out of 10. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which is 4.5 times 2, 9 out of 10. So we're going to swap to a 10 system. So snake rack, making that an 8 out of 10. This thing's getting a 9 out of 10. Honestly, super easy to build. I'm really happy with the construction on this guy. I prefer front opening enclosures, but I knew I was getting a top loading, and I love that it locks in place and all the little features on this thing. This, not going to use it, but it's good that it comes with it. It's just an added little thing. You don't need any sort of tools if you don't have power tools or anything like that in your home. It comes with everything you need to build it. 2 thumbs up from me. But that's it for the Reptizoo 10-gallon knockdown enclosure build and review. Honestly, if you are trying to set up like a quarantine, if you have a large collection of reptiles, or even a moderate one, and you need something that you can safely quarantine an animal in, this seems like a perfect solution for that, or for what you're doing. Just to really isolate it. If you have the extra tanks, obviously you can use any tank. You don't need this one specifically. But I didn't have a very sterile enclosure, and with the amount of animals that we're going to have coming in recently, we got to make sure that they're separated. That way we can monitor their health properly, and this is going to help us with that and make this go very smoothly. And I love it so much more than the aquarium style with the top lid. And I've had other enclosures that had a 20-gallon that had a sliding lid too, but I just like this overall. I really like the construction. I love the design of it, and I can't find anything really negative to say about it. So, thanks for watching. Please give us a like and comment down below and tell us what you thought and what you'd like us to cover next. Please subscribe to keep in touch and see what we do next and what we'll be either reviewing or what animals we're going to be adding to our reptile room as we continue on this journey. And we'll see you in the next one.